So this is a little tutorial for Tinkercad, and we're going to draw this. Now this is not just an object of any size, because the intention is to 3D print it. So we have to make sure we know how big it's going to be. Also, it's a tag, and through this hole here, through there is going to be a keyring. So the keyring hole has to be the right size for in real life. So this tutorial will show you how to draw something of a specific size, not just dragging and dropping things in. I mean, if you're just doing a little fun picture, then that's fine. But if you actually want to 3D print something, you need to know how big it is. So first thing is we're going to drag in this one of these rectangular blocks. Let's have a look at the different ways of viewing it. See, that's kind of a really weird non-3D view, but it's two-dimensional. So we're going to go back to 3. You definitely need to use a mouse. Scrolling around like this, I pressed the right hand button, and that enabled me to do this. Pressing the scroll wheel in the middle of the mouse, that allows me to pan, which is really useful sometimes. Using the scroll wheel, I can zoom in and out. I don't have to go to the plus and minus at the side. So using a mouse for doing CAD is really useful. Okay, so we want to get this the right size. So there's a number of ways in which you can size objects. You can use these sliders here. So we could, I think we can even type in a number. So we want to make it, I'm going to go for 60. I'd like you to make it exactly the same size. The width, we're going to go 30. And the depth, we will choose 5. Okay, so do exactly the same size. Right. Another way of doing it is that you can select it, and if you click on the corner there, and then you can go to these numbers here, and you can click on them and then type the number that you want. A third way of changing it is, well, there's actually 4 ways. So you can move the cursors, this sliding scale here. I forgot what that was on. And then the final way of changing the size is to just drag this, drag this around. Okay, that's probably the worst way of doing it, but I think I can go back to 60 by 30. There we go, 60 by 30. So remember, we're trying to get it exactly the same size. Now, what I want to do is make a recess in here. So I want part of it to go down. Now, to do that, I need to use one of these blocks. So this is like negative space. And I actually want it to be on top of here. This is really important, this. So what you have to do is create a work plane. All right. So over here, work plane, and I can drag a work plane, and I can put it on top of this block here. So when I drag something in, it's not going to sit on the work plane I had before, the default one. It's going to sit on top of this block, and you'll see the power of that. So that is now on the top of the block there. So if I just turn it around like that, you see it's sitting on the top. All right, there we go. So work planes is a really important aspect of this. Now I want to get this kind of the same size, so I can, well, I'm going to do it this way. This is the way I prefer to do it. So this is going to be 60, but I want it to be slightly smaller. So we'll have 2 millimeters different. So that was 30. So if I make it 26, that will give me 2 millimeters. Yeah, on both sides. It's not in the right place yet. Here, that was 60. So take a foot. That's 56. Okay, right, so now it's the right size, but it's in the wrong place. So a good way of getting it in the right place is to go to the two-dimensional view, like that, and look from the top. And now I can pick this up, and I can quite easily move it into the right place. And hopefully, now I can't quite see whether that's right yet, so I'm going to use the scroll wheel to zoom in. Okay, and I can see I've actually done it wrong. There we go. Oh, that still looks wrong. Okay, so we need to go in a bit further. So it's 2 around the outside. Did I get the numbers wrong? I can't remember. it's not panning up here. Why is that not panning? Let's bring it down. There we are. So I'm having trouble getting this lined up. It doesn't look right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this out and make it the same size as the top. Like that and like that. So that's 30, that's correct. And this is 60. There we go. And now I can bring it in. So I'm going to try a different way of doing it. I'm going to come in to that side and to that side and so on. Oh, I see, that number's weird. Okay, so there's something going on there. 56. Nope. There we go. So these numbers aren't lining up. So I've done something wrong and I don't know what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the undo tool here and just go back. And I think I know what it was. I think this shape here I'm going to draw slightly differently. So here we go. Let's start again. So go to the 3D view. There we go. Drag this in like that and make it 60 by, so it's millimeters and you don't have to specify the units, it just knows it's millimeters. That was set. And the height, I think I'm going to do the height here. Cool. Let's do the height 5. There we are. So when you draw it exactly the same size. Okay, I'm going to use the scroll wheel to zoom in. There we go. And then I'm going to get the work plane, drag it in and put it on top here. Then I'm going to drag the negative space and pop it on the top there. And then I want this to be the same size. So length 60. So I'm going to change it over here on this one. 60. Width 30. Height. Height doesn't matter. Okay. And so I can get this lined up, I'm going to change to the two-dimensional view and look from the top. Right, and let's have a look at that. Select it. There we are. And then we've got to bring this in 2 millimeters on both sides. So 29, 28. Now I'm struggling to move this exactly. Oh no, that's okay. Yeah, there we go. And one more. Okay, so there we are. Right. So I'm going to go back to the three-dimensional view. There we go. I'm going to turn it around so I can see it. I'm going to zoom in like that. And now what I want to do is lower this cube down. So we kind of, and you'll see the effect of it. And I want to go down 1. Now it's 5 millimeters thick, so I want to go down 1. I want to go down 2. Just 2 like that. Okay, and then to make this block cut away from the underside, go like that and put a box around it and then group it. There we go. And there's that recessed bit there. Alright, so the next step is we need to put a hole in it. So to cut a hole, we need to use the cylinder tool. Now what surface do we want it to be on? We want it to be on this lower down bit here, this surface here. So the work plane at the moment is at the top here, so I need to drag another work plane in and I need to put it on that. Now this is really important because when we come to put this on here, we want it to sit on that plane. Now in fact for this particular place it wasn't absolutely vital. I could have done it there, but you know, when you're using this program correctly, you know, it's good to get into good habits with it. So we want this to be just 5 millimeters in diameter. So I'm going to type in 5 there and 5 there. So that's the right size. And now, like with the big cube, I want to lower it down. Now in this particular case, it doesn't matter how long it is, because all it's doing is making a hole through there, which we'll do in a minute. But I do need to get it in the right place. So we go to the top view, go to two-dimensional view. You see the difference? That is a bit tricky to line up. That's dead easy to line up. So we can zoom in here. It's going off the side, so use the scroll wheel to pan across to get it so it's in the middle here. So I'm pressing the scroll wheel down, and we want to get this. It's a correct size, 5 by 5, but I'd like to put it into the corner here. Right, so under here we've got the snap to grid. So I think I'm going to change it to 0.1. Right, and then there we go. Now I can get it lined up. Right, so it's perfectly there. So now I'm going to go back to the 3D view, like that. I'm going to use the scroll wheel to zoom around and just zoom in there. That's looking good. Now to make that hole go through there, selection box around the outside. When you're doing selection boxes, you have to start up here in the top, way above it and way to the left of it, and then you go down to the right of it and below it. Right, so everything's inside there. Then you group it together, and there we have it. There we have the hole going through. Okay, now next thing is we're going to put some writing on there. So we could put some text on there. We could also use the scribble. So I think I'm going to use the scribble. I think rather like that. Now, which plane is it going to go on? So at the moment, the work plane is exactly in the right place. Right? So it's the same as the hole. Right? So drag this across, put it on there. Right? So that's telling you what it's going to look like, and then we can do. What shall I do? I'm going to do. Look at that. Now it's far too big, but that doesn't matter. That's the name of my dog. Okay, so there we go. And right, it's on the correct work plane. You see that? It's sitting on the top there, but it's obviously in the wrong place. So we need to get it right. So this is not difficult. So we go to the two-dimensional view again, and now we can rotate it. Oh, that looks rather good. And then I'm going to move it. Oh, look at that. I like it. Let's just have a look at go back to 3D again. Oh no, sorry, the house. And it's far too tall, isn't it? So we want to make it a little bit shorter. Right, so height, it's 10 at the moment, so I think let's go down to, oops, even taller. Now, this went down 2 millimeters, so I'm going to make it 2. That would be rather good. Where is the height? This one here. There we go. So I'm going to put 2 in here. Select it. 2. There we go. So it's the same height as the outside bit. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now it's not going to come out blue and red, because when I 3D print that, it'll all come out as one color. So I think I can group that. Let's try that. There you go. Right, so that's more like what it's going to look